Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to our final episode in our Grand Tactician the Civil War series. We are going to wrap the war up in this video. An interesting battle occurs in today's video between General Ulysses S. Grant and Stonewall Jackson. A pretty even fight too in terms of manpower involved. I think actually we had a slight disadvantage. But we'll take a look at that in this video. This was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel the other night. This is Grand Tactician the Civil War, a game that allows you to play through the American Civil War as either the Union or the Confederates, allowing you to make strategic decisions like implementing policies like the Emancipation Proclamation, raising troops, assigning commanders to armies, and then when those armies meet, you get to fight those battles out tactically. It is episode number 35 of our Let's Play series, playing as the Union with the 1861 start date, and it is the final episode, so tune in to see how things sort of wrap up. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll catch you guys at the end. And let's go ahead and jump right back in. We're coming off a victory in Virginia against the left wing of the Confederate forces there. Richmond has already fallen. Atlanta, Chattanooga have already fallen. All of Tennessee and the bulk of Arkansas are in our control. So the war is going well, but there are other enemy armies, and apparently there may be a trigger that causes the enemy to raise much larger new armies as well. But that is for the episode, so let's not spoil too much. Let's jump right in and see how this plays out. Interesting. They're going to go back on boats and withdraw. All right, we'll go take Norfolk. Okay. Meanwhile, the Department of Pennsylvania is marching deep into North Carolina through the mountains toward Raleigh. It'll be a glorious victory for us. You move in toward Columbus. Atlanta, Georgia, your supplies are good. You're on the river. You're finishing a depot. All right, go take Corinth. Okay. Move down to Shreveport and Maiden. All right, enemy national morale is down to 34. Break, my lads, break. Lincoln emancipates the slaves. Yay! That increases national morale a little bit. Because they're kind of like, well, we can't not fight then. Okay. Second Corps is moving down into North Carolina. I'm going to auto-resolve this and see how it goes. We outnumber the enemy better than 3-1. Hunter may not be the best commander, but there we go. Wait, that's not Virginia, is it? Oh, that's not where they were fighting. Okay. Right, so they're going to pull east. Shouldn't Norfolk be under our control? The enemy's going to retreat into my position. Great. They're trying to pull back to Norfolk. Okay. All right, so North Carolina is pretty much ours. How much of the damn Confederacy do I have to take? Oh, they have no supply. Eek. Where's the third corps going? They also have no supply. Fuck! Or no, they have supply now. I wonder if the enemy's going to start raising new units now that it looks like they just passed conscription. So perhaps they'll get more troops. It does indicate they got about 30,000 new troops. Why doesn't he want to fight? He's retreating from the Army of the Tennessee. He's got supplies. No provisions, I guess. That's the issue. 20,000 men now, huh? Well, we might get an interesting fight. Our economic situation's terrible. But we're into September of 62. Enemy Army of the Shenandoah now is 18,000 men, so conscription has refreshed the enemy ranks. Columbia's in the process of falling. The Army of the South has been raised, another 20,000 troops there, so some of these extended forces are going to need to be careful. Not only are they overextended from a supply and logistics perspective, but now the enemy's getting stronger just at the last moment. Bizarre Andrew, thank you very much for the continued support and the resub there. I don't know where the rebel capital is. That's a good question. I suppose it could be in Columbus or Columbia. Any chance we can take Columbia real quick? I think that's an important city for them. All right, so we got that. National morale's down to 30. Remember, they break at 25. Happy to have the Rebs build all the supply depots I need. Okay. Let's go to Charleston, South Carolina, boys. That might be the nail in the rebel coffin if we can get there. Supply situation's not great. I should go to policies. There's like a live off the land one, I think. Is that the Confiscation Act? I mean, that also, yeah. I think that might be it. Army of the South has about 20,000 men between us and them. Army of the Cumberland, Thomas Stonewall Jackson, 18,000 rebels against 14,000 Federals under Ulysses S. Grant. Let's fight it, boys. We're outnumbered. A much better rebel commander in charge. We'll see if they can give us a fight. All right, so we are on the defensive, which is good. The enemy outnumbers us. Their supply situation is outstanding. Says ours is too, but so it says we're actually on the offensive, not the defensive. Fuck. All right. I'm not sure where the enemy is going to be holed up. We'll go ahead and basically just issue a generic advance order. Really, we shouldn't take much more for us to force them to surrender. 5-1, Butcher wins. I mean, the handful of battles that I've fought that I've lost generally was with me on the offensive. Because when you're trying to, root an enemy out of their entrenchments, that's much more difficult. All right, let's move quickly. We'll move all 15,000 of our troops down this roadway. Market garden style. Everybody on one road. There we go. Oh boy. Well, we discovered the enemy, boys. Can you halt now? I believe I ordered you all to halt. Yes, I did. All right, so it is 10 a.m. and the enemy is holed up in front of us. They have entrenchments guarding their flank in a refused position. Entrenchments in the center. Oh, this is going to be a tough nut to crack. If I had some Sharps rifles, not rifled muskets, but some Sharps rifles, I would feel a lot more comfortable. We're outnumbered and they're entrenched. That isn't good. All right. 1st Division under Richardson. Deploy your boys in line here. 2nd Division under Heinzelman. Deploy your boys in the north here. I'm going to try and break their flank. These guys have low morale. One of them is a very whittled down brigade. And maybe we can turn their position. Am I going to stop for tea since it's Market Garden? Maybe. You know, why not? Let's also deploy our cavalry up. Don't use those roadways. All right, cavalry, go up that way. Artillery batteries, let's deploy them both down here. We've got 12-pound howitzers and 24-pound howitzers. Shit. I didn't order that cavalry to do that. They had their path going north. God damn it. They broke and ran. Bastards. They had a path that was up this way and over. Well, not a great start for this battle. Still, if the enemy's going to pull out of their entrenchments, which it looked like they were, that could be useful. Alright, so our 2 batteries are in action. Firing at these rebel guns. Colcutt is the man. And someone's moving north. The artillery will fire all morning. I could use more guns. Alright, they've refused their position as well. So Heinzman, it looks like the enemy has some empty trenches. I'm gonna switch your boys into a single line. Let's see if we can flank Greg's brigade. They've got about 3,000 men, so this is a fresh conscript brigade. So they're gonna be tricky. Oh god. Well, they really did extend their line up there. That's not exactly what I had in mind. Longstreet, Colcutt, and McCrae. All right, let's do this. Let's see if we can issue orders for long-range fire. Alright. Let me try and move some of these brigades in here. It's kind of a frontal assault on enemy troops and trenches. This is a bit of a bad idea. Also because I got one brigade out here all by itself. Alright, but they might break the battalion of artillery here. We'll see. I'm not sure I like this Charleston's looking like a bridge too far, maybe. Colquitt's lost almost 40 men now. We're losing way too many men. Is this cavalry still... These guys are never broken. Okay. Bring these guys up. Where did the broken arc cavalry go? Did they flee from the map? Looks like it. So the enemy artillery broke. Colquitt's battery is broken. We'll shift our fire to Longstreet. We've lost about 300 men. If we can break their center here in these entrenchments, I think we'll be okay. Or I hope we'll be okay. I don't know. Maybe we won't. Get your Smith carbines up here. How fast do these things fire? 7 rounds a minute? So maybe this cavalry was the one that was routed. They didn't lose a ton of men, but they did rout pretty quickly. Are they not shooting? Guys, you're not going to survive there long if you don't open fire. Close range against Longstreet's boys. Just getting wrecked, aren't we? We're gonna have to retreat in a second here. I'm gonna get this army destroyed, aren't I? Duval is heeding that break. It's just about to lose 100 men. Okay, engage him. Oh, I didn't mean to melee. I didn't order them to melee, did I? Oh, God. They're gonna rout. Also, it doesn't help that my troops aren't experienced. Send everybody in, the whole division. Oh, Longstreet's giving me his flank. He did drive that cavalry back. Oh my God, we broke him. We broke McCrae's brigade with that charge. Hell yeah, brother. Turn and face Longstreet's move. Push up and get into these trenches. Oh, yes. We might actually pull this battle off. It's going to be bloody. It's not going to be pretty. I don't care. McCrae broke. Didn't even lose that many men. And the center of the enemy entrenchments are broken. They still have more men than us, and they still have a lot of men in trenches. What are you guys doing here? You're advancing into our position despite being broken? There's going to be another melee here. They don't break me back. Usually broken troops charging is not a recipe for success in this game. Oh, they're retreating again. I wonder if we'll get to destroy the brigade if they'll surrender to us. Longstreet advanced out of his trench, presumably to try and take our charge in the flank, but that's resulted in us being able to hit him in the open now and inflict pretty heavy casualties from the 1st Ohio firing into his flank. 1st Ohio has 3 stars. It's under Meade. He's pulling back now, back into these trenches. He is fighting Duval, who has been very badly bloodied and is nearly broken, but Longstreet's lost over 700 men, largely because of that attempt to turn our flank, the flank of that charge. McCrae will probably completely surrender. He's down to 400 men. Longstreet will regain the advantage of the trench here in a moment. Duval is losing men, yep, so he needs reserves, he needs to be relieved. Let's see where my cavalry went. It's still broken. He only lost 300 men. That's the frustrating part. It says Meade is in melee, but I don't know who with. I guess maybe Duval. Okay. Longstreet is wavering now. He's lost over 900 men. Duval will probably break soon, but we are not far from pulling out a victory. Which I would quibble with such a small percentage of the enemy being engaged in the game giving us a victory. If it weren't for the fact that we, you know, if we look at the position here from a tactical perspective, we split the enemy army in two, and so presumably that would drive most generals to withdraw. Or at least pull back to another defensive position. Meanwhile, I'm ordering Meade to charge. He is tired though, so perhaps we should halt that charge. I don't know if the order will get there to halt. It did. Point blank volley into Longstreet's brigade, and they've broken, so now we'll go with the charge. And the enemy's retreating. We do have 50 minutes of a pursuit phase, so maybe we'll get a second enemy brigade. To surrender. This won't be a major victory because, frankly, we didn't engage the bulk of the enemy army. Stonewall's boys just as green as mine? I don't know, maybe. Stonewall's troops, some of them are fresh. Longstreet I don't think is fresh. Well, actually they have 1 star, so they might be fresh. But I think at least 1 or 2 of the brigades had some experience. But yeah, this is largely a completely fresh force. All right, Longstreet is in melee with Meade. We've ordered Duval to advance. We've ordered the 6th New York under Timothy Andrews to advance. Our troops are pretty experienced. At least Meade, 3 stars. Duval, 2 stars. 5th Indiana under Milroy, 2 stars. So that's a relatively experienced force. Yeah, I'd say splitting the enemy army. We didn't really wreck 1/2 of it. Maybe more like 1/3 of it. But again, splitting the enemy army, I think, is enough to justify the AI's decision to give us a victory. I don't know why these guys won't shoot. If they can't see them, maybe. 40 more minutes of pursuit. Longstreet's casualties are mounting. I'm hoping we can force him to surrender here. Charging from the other flank now. There we go. Longstreet's gone. So it's 2 large enemy brigades, both surrendering. So yeah, that'll be a pretty nice little victory there against a numerically superior force, where I thought we were going to get absolutely wrecked. The position's not valuable unto itself. I mean, this was, I will give the AI a pretty good amount of credit here. It put its position on a ridge, blocking the main roadway. That was, I think, a sound decision. They did end up losing 4,300 infantry and 15 of their 30 guns, so they lost about 1/4 of their troops. We lost about 1,600 troops out of 1,400. So they had a considerable advantage, but we just broke them, boys. The Battle of Galesville ended with a Federal minor victory. Enemy morale falls by almost another full percentage point. Should get us real close to wrapping this thing up. The main issue right now is most of our troops just kind of charged pell-mell into the Confederacy. We don't have foraging unlocked, and we have no supplies. Oops. We also have no money to rebuild our armies if they get destroyed. So, you know. Okay. Enemy morale's down to 29%. General Grant is a hero. To me, anyway. He had... All right, just go to Montgomery. I think that wins the war, if we get to Montgomery. Meanwhile, we've ordered the 5th Corps to move to Charleston. Department of Pennsylvania is... Well, they should get at least supplies from port, right? Okay. Maybe Augusta would be a sounder decision. Uh, 14,000 versus 6,000. I'll auto-resolve that. Oh shit, they retook Atlanta. I think that's a victory for us, right? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, so Army of the Northwest disintegrates. Okay. South Carolina State Militia. So a whole bunch of enemy units just disintegrated. They are besieging Fort Pickens. National morale of the enemy is down to 28%. So they did retake Atlanta, though. I don't even know where all of my troops went. So we've got about 20,000 men approaching these guys near Charlotte. We'll be outnumbered. We'll have ammo, but very little food. Sherman, where are you going to go? Go retake Atlanta. They're not fighting at Charlottesville or Charlotte? Why? Are they fresh recruits? Shouldn't they be retreating then? All right. So we're down to 26 national morale points for the enemy. I don't know if we have to get every one of these objectives to win, or if like just breaking the morale will give us the victory in of itself. So in that event, let's go for Savannah. It looks like it's a level 7. Then let's go down to Pensacola, I guess, with Grant. Charleston might be too heavily defended, but I think Savannah will be open. Otto von Bismarck, Blood and iron. Who cares if we don't have food? We'll just not forage and march on our stomachs. Oh, Confiscation Act passes. That should help our supply and forage position, right? I guess we auto-resolve the assault. I don't know what I just did. Oh, God. Civil War in Transvaal. What's going on? The war is over! Yay! I think we assaulted Fort Pulaski successfully. I've never seen like an infantry assault on a fort displayed this way before. But the Confederacy sues for peace. Union armies triumphant. The rebellion is crushed. The campaign is over. Union armies triumphant.
That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States of America.
We're going to listen to this postscript.
Epilogue. A new birth of freedom. The South was determined to maintain her position, but ended up smelling the Northern powder and feeling the Northern steel. As Union troops march on triumphantly, the rebel armies lay down their weapons and surrender without conditions.
Bayonet him! Bayonet him!
The Confederacy is no more, and the lost cause of independence died with her on the battlefields where Union armies put an end to the rebellion with overwhelming superiority in determination and martial prowess. And, as President Davis declared when the sword was drawn, the time for compromise truly had passed. Entering southern cities and heartlands, the Union armies bring with them no compassion.
Yeah, Slam.
With fire for war not yet extinguished in their bellies, many commanders, still full of fervor and far away from home, and the watchful eye of the government, see it as their duty to take the law into their own hands. Under the rule of the victorious, remaining rebellious spirits are quelled forcibly. The evil of slavery is abolished for good, bringing all Americans freedom, overlooked by the blue-clad troops with rifle in hand. Loud opposition of the new order is removed, along with the ringleaders of the rebellion. While prisons are being filled, overreaction cannot be avoided. With every slain citizen unwilling to give up opposition, the malice felt toward one another grows between the men of North and South. A new birth of freedom, so violently given, does not come without travail. It would not take years, but generations, for these nations' wounds to heal. Moreover, even then, no one knows whether the scars would simply hide deeper symptoms, waiting to infect American unity once again.
Is that game trying to be like, the South will rise again and the Civil War is coming back? That was like a really kind of eerie ending where it's like, the scars of war are only hidden and another war is coming. All right, so here is the post-war screen. You can see that the ending state was 93 national morale against 25 for the Confederates. That's why they broke. National support stayed strong for the Confederates at 60, but ours was at 83. Morale of the armies was 58 to 57. I don't know why ours was so low, given we won every battle we fought. Winfield Scott is still in command of the Union armies. He survived to that position. Total men fielded. The Confederacy actually raised more men than we did, a total of 215,000 men. But by the end, they were down to like, well, 60,000 maybe, because they had 140,000 casualties. Now, I had over 200,000 men fielded. I ended with 166, so this doesn't add up unless they raised a whole bunch of troops right there at the end that never fought me. 53 military experience for 40, 50 battles won against 9 lost, 61,000 Federal casualties against 147,000 Confederate casualties. The Confederates did maintain better European relations with us, but it didn't really matter. Trade warfare, I guess we lost more to trade warfare. I don't quite understand that stat. Weapons industry, ours was much better. I don't know what inspect campaign means. Detailed statistics, I guess. I don't really know. I guess maybe this just opens up the map here. Yeah, I think the South raised a whole bunch of troops toward the end there that never got to see action. Or were in the process of raising a whole bunch of troops that never got to see action. Yeah, in any event. So, how do I end this? Okay, so that's a victory. First time I played through the campaign, it was interesting. I think the AI still needs a lot of work on the campaign map. I think it's weird how it kind of allows armies to kind of like fade into nothingness as they take casualty after casualty. It would be nice if the AI was a little bit more competent to like, hey, this unit lost a lot of men, let's merge it with another. It does it, but it does it on like scripted events or policies rather than like continuously throughout the war. I think it needs to do that throughout the war if you don't want to end up with a very kind of stale and repetitive back and forth, which just allows you to bleed the enemy down while you continually replenish your losses. I like the strategic element of the game. I do think the supply depots and other things like that help to slow your advance a little bit, at least until you get the relevant policies passed that let you be more nimble in the field. I do think sometimes the AI is a little repetitive and like, well, we lost this battle, but we're going to wait 2 weeks till we're no longer broken and we're going to attack the same thing again with, you know, the same number of men or fewer and hope for a different result. I think, you know, I think a more natural feeling sort of ebb and flow to campaigns would be nice. You know, during the winter, go into winter quarters. Winter quarters exist and the enemy attacks less, but like probably not attack in the middle of the winter unless there's a reason to. And then, you know, attack, and then if you lose, maybe you wait a month instead of a week to attack again. Also, I think the rebels are a little aggressive at times in the game. You know, maybe they should sit back more and let the Union come to them. Replace commanders who are defeated. It seems like they only do that when on scripted events rather than like, hey, if an AI commander is actually, you know, discredited, the game tries to tell you, the Union, to change your commanders when they're sort of embarrassed or defamed, and maybe the AI should do the same. But overall, it's a really unique Civil War game. It's a very ambitious Civil War game, and I've enjoyed my time with it so far. I think what we may do in the near future is do a Confederate campaign where we play as a later war start date, where the game is really, really rigged against us. Because of the situation, you know, maybe an 1863 campaign, even more challenging, maybe the 1864 campaign. You know, I debated doing the 1862 start with the Union in the middle of the Peninsula campaign or about to start. That could be interesting as well, sort of peak Confederate manpower. But I think 64 could be really interesting. Late war tech, late war units, huge armies. Maybe we'd see some more interesting battles rather than a lot of these smaller affairs, which I think was a result of the early start date. But overall, you know, I enjoyed the campaign. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And I think that's going to do it for tonight. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this episode of Grand Tactician, the Civil War, the final episode of our Union Let's Play series. We were victorious in this war. It was a lot of fun. The game has some flaws, as you heard me talking about in the last minute or so, so I won't rehash that. But I did enjoy the series. I hope you guys did as well. Leave your thoughts down below. We'll probably return to this game playing as the Confederates at some point in the near future, but not quite yet. And without further ado, that's going to end the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the series. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.